it's very rich. It's very high grade. You've seen some sensational. I think our top 5 holes were 21 meters of over 8% copper equivalent. That was at 950 PGMs, and now they're like 1250 or higher.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Terry Lynch. She is the CEO of Power Metallic Mines. And Terry, I know you're at camp right now with all the crews going and all the work that's happening. We're going to talk all about it. So first off, welcome. Good to see you again.
Hey, Steve. Great to see you as always.
Yeah. So, Terry, let's talk a little bit about the news out today, and that is that you've increased the size and land package that you have. Talk to me a bit about the reasoning behind trying to get this land package together.
Yeah, well, I guess the general reason would be that we think what we've discovered here isn't just a single, situation like Lion or even NISK in 2 of them. We think it's more likely to be a district like Sudbury. Sudbury's got 33 mines. We think we've uncovered a new district, and we wanted to get as much land as possible. We sort of identified really 8 key targets, I guess, Lion-like in look, and now we have 7 of the 8. So that's why we did it.
Yeah, and obviously trying to create this sort of larger land package gives you an opportunity to look at a lot of different areas of how you do work, right?
Yeah, what's interesting with our approach to exploration here, we use the borehole EM a lot, and so when you do that, when you drill, you obviously hopefully intersect the sulfides, which is what we're looking for, and then you put the tool down to sort of see if that sulfide pathway continues in front of you, and of course that takes time. So while you're waiting on that, you need to be drilling on something else. So it's important to have multiple sort of faces to your exploration program. So adding the new land will expand the operations around Lion immediately. And then it also gives us a lot of good targets where we'll need to do some additional work before we get drilling. But I expect we'd be drilling these targets in the winter, sort of after October 15th.
Yeah, after October 15th, for sure. And Terry, I know that you recently announced that crews are mobilized, and that's why you're up there as well. You've got a pretty extensive summer and into winter program that you're doing right now at a number of different areas. So can you sort of update everyone on what's going on at camp?
Yeah. We've got now 4 rigs running, 2 helicopter rigs, 2 land rigs, and they're generally focused 2 around Lion, 1 around Tiger, 1 on NISK, working its way towards Lion, and we'll keep with the 4 rigs. They're running through about almost 2,000 meters a week in terms of drilling, so that's quite a pace. We'll probably get to sort of in the 25,000 meters drilled by September 15th, this summer program, and then another 25,000 between October 15th and Christmas. So the overall plan is about 100,000 meters of drilling that's fully funded between now and the end of 26. And what we're trying to do is just figure out how big this thing is. We know it's very rich, it's very high grade. You've seen some sensational. I think our top 5 holes were 21 meters of over 8% copper equivalent. That was at 950 PGMs, and now they're like 1250 or higher. So it's very rich. Now we need to figure out how big is it? How many tons? And it looks like it's big. But this program will certainly hopefully allow us to put an envelope around that, get a grasp of how big this thing could be.
Okay. And lastly, Terry, I know that you're also utilizing this borehole surveys that you've done on elsewhere, and you really think that's a big part of the program here that you're doing as well. You find a lot of great information from there.
Yeah, we've had a remarkable success rate in drilling. Like over 50% of our holes are hitting sulfides. Now, not all of them are economic, right? But that's one thing we can't term. But we're hitting them, and then at least it allows us to move forward. So it's been a highly effective technique. We've been blessed because we don't have a lot of false positives here. There's no graphite, there's no chrome. So when we see and basically it takes a 6-inch drill hole and turns it into a 150-meter drill hole. So from a visibility perspective, you get a very clear sense what's in 150 meters if there's anything that's going to react to the electromagnetic, right? So is it a sulfide body? If it's out there, that's probably a positive for us. We want to keep on drilling. So that's a great way to expand rapidly and to be very efficient with your drilling and lose less empty holes. So it takes a little bit longer, Obviously, it costs a bit more, but it costs less in the long run because you're drilling a lot less dry holes, and you're exporting your package much quicker, and that's what it's all about.
Terry, it sounds like it's going to be a super busy summer and then into fall as well. Lots of news coming out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've obviously, today was the update on the lift. We'll have some update on our metallurgy work, which is obviously an important part of not only much you find it, you got to be able to pull it out of the rock efficiently, which we're able to do. So we'll have some update on that probably in about a week. And then we'll, probably have some corporate development stuff that'll be exciting, and then we'll be right into the assays. So I would expect assays will start back probably mid-August and run every 3 or 4 weeks, pretty much for the next 18 months. So it's going to be a very newsy next while for Power Metallic, and our shareholders should be sitting and waiting with bated breath.
All right. Well, we'll make sure we have you back on for all of it for sure. Terry, thanks so much. Great to see you again. Appreciate the time.
All right, Steve. Have a great day. Cheers. Thanks again.
You as well. Terry Lynch, the CEO of Power Metallic Mines.